Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be having a look at Bitcoin. Before we jump into that, I'd just like to say thanks for watching. If you're enjoying the content, hit that subscribe button, turn on those bell notifications and leave us some feedback down below. Okay, so we're still looking for that same possibility of a fourth wave here. Basically within this structure, what I'm looking for is the potential that, we could be coming down towards this zone of this 29278 to this 29880. So technically speaking, this could be a completed move here. We could look at this as W, X, and Y, and that could be completed. And we could be looking for this move up into this zone of this 30,986 to this 30,641. Now, there are a couple of ways of looking at this. We could also argue that within here, we have a triangle and that actually our fifth wave is completed here. So within this way, basically, what I'm looking out for here is if we do have this as a completed five-wave move, and we do actually look to break down lower than this 29,278, what we could potentially do is find support lower down here towards this 29,085 to this 29,343. If we do find, if this does play out, what I'll be looking out for is the potential of actually forming bigger structure here and having even further extension within these waves, where this becomes another 1, 2, and then we look to push up for a bigger third wave up towards this 33K region. So 33,303 to be exact. So this is just one of the ways that we're looking at this move. The thing is, potentially if we do get a push up here in this fifth wave again, what we could also do is look at the alternative where we look at this move from further back here as another 1 and a 2. The problem is this structure within here is making me a little bit reluctant to count this as a 1, 2, but I am still monitoring it. The only way that it would work is if you would say that you had a W, potentially an X, and then a Y wave like this. The problem is the reason I don't like this is basically the fact of the distance traveled here between these two waves is not, this one to one is not being met. So it can happen though. So we just need to be aware of that. So if this is the case, basically what we have is two options. Once again, if we look at this move as completed into this high, then this could be 1, 2, 3, and then we're looking for a fourth wave here and then looking for that potential fifth wave to the upside. So how would that look? That would look something like this, where basically the support zone would be roughly the same here, where we have this as a 1, 2, potentially a third wave here, and we're looking for a fourth wave in this location. So this 29,142 would be the lower range of this, which we wouldn't really want to lose in this case. And the way that I'm looking at this, if we complete into this high, we could see something like this, where this is actually ABC down. We're going to form a B wave to the upside here, which could potentially be completed here. Or alternatively, we could actually, it is possible that we're still within this A because we haven't met this 1-to-1 area. So we'll be keeping an eye on that if we do drop down one more time. It's 29,744. If we do move down one more time here, it's possible that actually this A wave is incomplete. But for the time being, I'm just keeping an eye on this. I think that potentially we could be within a B wave here. And what I would want to see here, if for confirmation of this, is rejection between this zone of this 30,390 to this 30,000 range again. And then we could be looking at that possibility where we have a zigzag here, looking for this move up as a B wave again, and then looking for that possibility of a C wave. So obviously this 0.618 area, this golden pocket here is going to be quite an interesting zone, would be a retest of these highs. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that if we do start to move to the upside. I mean, currently we have come up towards we've achieved 1-to-1 here. It is possible, we find support again where this becomes A, this becomes B, and then we get a C wave up, which could look to push us up towards this zone here rather. Or, I mean, if we come back into this low, this 50% area, which would be this 30K, retesting the bottom of this zone. We have actually come back up and retested this here, and we've started to move away. So it is possible, this B wave could actually be in play here and we could be looking for this C wave to the downside. So 1-to-1 off of our current location would take us down towards this zone here of this 29,343. So that would be, we're looking at this as a potentially bigger corrective move coming back down into these lower ranges here. But really, we don't want to lose this 29,142. So it is still possible, that we could argue that we've got a fifth wave to the upside here, but we need to break back above this 30,548 and this high here of this 30,345. For as long as we fail to break back above those, we need to be a little bit careful because we do have some five wave structure here. And, it is possible that, like I said, we could be in this fourth wave still, and we could be forming some kind of a C wave where this becomes A, B, and then we're looking for a C wave as a flat correction. This is still potentially possible. The zone I'd be looking for typically would be towards this 29,533 if it's going to be an expanding flat here. But the internal structure here isn't matching up very good. And the only way that it would make sense if we're going to be doing that is that potentially, we have something like this as a diagonal down into these zones where this becomes one, two, we get another three wave move, four wave three, we get a fourth and a fifth, um, basically all made up of zigzags if that is the case. And then that could look to push us down into this lower range. So this is still viable. We need to be just watching out. If this is the case, what this would mean is so we'd get a fourth and a fifth here, and then basically this alternative third wave here would just be higher up. And what it would be looking for is that, basically we'd look then for this fourth wave from this point here and look to find support again, basically in the same zone here. So this is what we're looking at for that bullish push to the upside. Potentially if we look to find support here and we're looking at, a completed move here, what we could then look to find, sorry, that's the wrong one. If we look at this one rather, if we do find support here in this zone and potentially come back down to these lower ranges here of this 29,343, what we could then see is, another fifth wave to the upside, which could look to actually take us up, towards this zone of this 31,318 to this 30,841. And this would actually push us back up into this potential channel that we have here, and looking for that high. I think this is moved actually. Let's move this down a little bit. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, basically looking for the potential to come back into the top of this channel. So if we do actually push up here, this will be a zone I'm keeping an eye on. Obviously, we need to just monitor this because if we do have five wave moves to the downside here, we need to just be careful that this doesn't actually, develop into a bigger move to the downside. And we're also talking about that possibility, of looking at this as a flat correction here where we could argue that, possibly this is A, B, C, D, E here, where this could be A, B, and then C. If that's the case, we've actually come and we've met the, remove some of these. We've actually come up here and we've achieved one-to-one, which is sitting up here. Well, we haven't quite achieved it actually. We're just shy of it, $50 shy of the one-to-one, which was this 30,604 region. So if this is the case, we need to just be careful that, this isn't just a bigger B wave to the upside, and we're still going to be looking for a breakdown in a C wave. So with this in mind, I'm starting to keep an eye on the fact that we could potentially start to break to the downside. So this is what I'm looking at currently. You know, if we have this as a 1, 2, this is another 1, 2 that's developing here. Potentially, we could be looking for a deeper drop. If we drop down towards this zone of this 29,200 directly, so we don't actually come up any higher here, and we just get a five-way move down here like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. What we would have to be looking out for is the potential that we could have additional structure here where we get a fourth wave up again, failing to break above this 29,639, get a fifth wave down towards this 29K region, get an additional fourth wave up back into the zone of this previous fourth wave, and then look to push down towards the zone of this 28,982 to this 28,813. So if we do get a move down like this, it would be unlikely then that this is A, B, and C at this point. It is still possible that you can get a C wave extended out like this, but basically what you would have to do is take this high again for confirmation, which is sitting here at this 30,550. If, however, we formed something like this to the downside, and we get a three-wave move back to the upside, fail to take these highs, and get rejected in this zone here of this 30,194 to this 29,075. So a particularly interesting area would be this golden pocket here, coming back into the bottom of these levels. Possibly what we could then be setting up for is either a three-wave move to the downside, which could look to take us towards this zone down here of this. Let me just change this. So three-wave move to the downside, which could potentially look to bring us back down into this 28K region, 28,359. Or alternatively, we could get a bigger breakdown from here where this becomes 1, 2. We get a third wave down towards this 27K region, get a fourth wave back up here, and then look for an additional fifth wave to the downside. So this is why we need to be careful here for as long as we continue to remain below these highs. It could start to break down. Obviously, we've got CPI today, so everyone just be careful with the volatility. This is why we're looking for this potential of, what can happen both directions here. To give you the most information that we can with given the current structures. And yeah, basically with this, what I want to see is if we are looking at this as basically another fifth wave to the upside, we want to see this find support and push up. If this wave is smaller, so if this corrective structure is more in line with this move here, then basically what I'd want to see is, that additional fifth. Then we have this third come into play. We get a drop back down for this fourth and get another fifth. So two fourths and fifths playing out. If, however, this count is just actually from here, and we are either completed here, or I'd be looking for this lower support range here, 29,085 to this 28,343. Now, the key thing is here, it's going to be how we come down here. If we just, if, like I said, if we just drop down in a bigger five-wave move like this, and then we get an additional 1, 2, this would become 4, this would be 5, and then we get something like this, dropping back down into these lower ranges. We'd have to be very careful of that retracement to the upside. So it's not ideal if we drop down like this. If it's a bit more choppy and we have a lot more overlap, then potentially it would be fine. But what we don't want to do is have the five-wave move down into these lows, because then that would make this less likely that we're going to get a wave 2 here. So just keeping an eye on this. If this becomes 1, and then we get a three-wave move to the downside here to this 29,085 to this 28,343, we could be setting up for another five-wave move. But really, once we start to lose this 28,343, it becomes less likely and is finally invalidated by crossing this 27,800. So that's what we are looking out for here. We got a couple of options. We're still looking for further evidence that we're within a bigger third wave here, and then we're getting another 1, 2 here, and then we're starting to progress to the upside. But really, what we want to see here is we want to see this move meeting some of these previous 1.618. So we'd want to get if we're looking at this as another 1 and a 2 here, we want to get past this 31,780 range. We want to get a nice strong move up here, find support of this fourth wave again, and then look for a fifth wave move up, which could look to potentially take us up towards this 32,961 to this 32,218. So this is all provided that the structure continues to play out to the upside. If we start to break down here, and we lose those key support zones that we talked about, it is possible, we could see this start to break to the downside rather. So we need to just be aware of that, and that would be looking for that bigger flat potential where we see something like this, and we could still see that that possibility of coming down to some of these lower areas here. And what we're looking for there is we could actually come back down and retest these lower support zones which we have here, which would be towards this 24,672 to this 21,204. I'm no longer really looking at this higher one here just because of how big this is becoming here. It would be very unlikely that it is basically, that it is an A, B, C as a wave 1, 2. These things can happen, but just based on the size of it, it is quite large now in comparison to this move to the upside. So I would be less inclined to believe that that is, that's what's playing out here. So basically, what we need to be careful here on the bigger picture is, um, we've been talking about this for a while, that we could look for this potentially as, let me come into the 4 hourly here, as this move from further back here as an a B, and then looking for the C wave to the upside. So in this case, this would just be looking at this move as a flat correction at this point, because all we'd have is basically, a three-way move like this. We can argue that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then actually this was all a fifth wave. The problem that I have with this is that we did come down quite deep with this fourth wave in this case, if that's the case. Um, you know, I wouldn't really like that count, but these things can happen, so we'll have to just keep an eye on it. If we do move up here towards this 1 to 1, what we need to be cautious of is that this isn't just a bigger corrective move here to the upside, and then we could actually look to still break down towards some of these lower ranges of this 13,379 to this 10,604 region. So this is what I'm keeping an eye on. If we just what we want to see here. So if we want to see good impulsive structure here, what we either want to see is this get confirmation of a 1, 2 bigger third wave up here, which we're looking for that higher target in that case, which we're looking for, this target towards this 38K range, where we're looking at this as a third wave, in a potential third wave here. Um, until we do that, we need to just be careful because there is a number of ways of counting this move to the upside at the moment. And it is possible that we could be looking to extend out, but we need to start hitting those key zones, taking out some of these key highs, and then finding support back above some of these levels. This 32,399 and this 31,765 are going to be important zones in front of us, in my opinion. And, we need to get back above these and actually see the move start to continue this push to the upside. We are starting to get, some structure to the upside that is looking quite strong. But what we want to see is seeing this move do something like this, starting to get quite a strong move up here, because effectively, if this is the count where we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 here, this really should be starting to get a move on here, and doesn't want to sort of dawdle around, and want to see some good volume come into play and start to see this gapping towards the upside if there is a third wave. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. As well as that, there are affiliate links for both Primex BT and BYBIT down there, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. If you do not have an account, using the affiliate link does support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one.